New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. Rare Saturday edition. Haven't done a Saturday show in a while. Kind of wanted to do a quick one. Why? Like I always say, why not? The Giants' defensive line. I wanted to talk about that for a second. And then we'll talk about the stupidity of once again of Pro Football Focus and how much we all hate them. Because we know we hate them. It's one of those things that you just love to hate. Or you just hate them because they're that freaking stupid. And they're that biased against certain organizations and franchises. But we're not going to get into that just yet. Training camp hopefully is going to be rolling around soon. I'm waiting to see what they're going to do in reference to ticket situations. Because like I said, with the big move, we're moving out of the tri-state area. And I won't be able to go to any more training camps or, Giant games after October. So I'm going to try to catch as many Giant games as I can. I'm going to go to, of course, Jets-Giants preseason game. We are going to be giving away a ticket, a coaches club ticket. So you can be on the field. You can hang out with online Big Blue. It'll be fun. I'm still trying to figure out how to do the giveaway. Free food. You do have to pay for your own drinks. Airfare not included, so you probably have to be in the tri-state area. But we're going to have a fun time figuring out a way to do it. Coaches Club is an experience, so we'll do something great. We'll do something fun to give that ticket away. I wanted to talk about what used to be, and I do preface this with used to be, the strength of the New York Giants. And that was their defensive line. Last year, you have to admit, the defensive line was sometimes a brick wall. When you're anchored with the likes of Dalvin Tomlinson and Dexter Lawrence and Austin Johnson and Leonard Williams, you have something there. You had a team that you had a defensive line unit that allowed your linebackers to see clearly into the backfield and plug the hole so the ball carriers couldn't get to the second level. When they got to the second level, they got gobbled up by Pac-Man. Blake Martinez. And I'm not talking about Pac-Man from Colors. Good movie. Sean Penn. Robert Duvall. Should go watch it. But the Pac-Man, I like calling him Pac-Man because he just gobbled everyone up. But the question is it going to be the strength this year? You remove Dalvin Tomlinson and Minnesota got a steal of a pick for a 2-year contract. I'm still upset that if we were going to spend all this money, we probably could have still spent the money and kept Dalvin. Dalvin Tomlinson, to me, was a linchpin for this line. He's that guy. He's that pin. He's that cog in the motor that if you take out, I'm not sure if the motor is going to run the exact same. Now, everyone's going to say, well, we still have Dexter Lawrence and we still have Leonard Williams. True that. Very, very, very true that. But if you actually take a look statistically at Dalvin Tomlinson and Dexter Lawrence, they pretty much had the same type of season. Dexter Lawrence, of course, had 53 tackles, 4 sacks, 30 solo, 23 assists, 6 tackles for a loss, 10 quarterback hits. Dalvin Tomlinson had 49 stops, 25 solo, 24 assists, 8 tackles for loss, 10 hits as well, and 3.5 sacks. Very similar. Very, very similar. And that's the interesting part, how similar they are. And what's also very eerily similar is the number of plays that both of them were on the field. Dalvin Tomlinson was on the field for 60% of the defensive plays at 658 snaps. Dexter Lawrence was on for 655 plays for 60% of the snaps. Very similar players. Now, the problem is when you have two very similar players and they start the majority of the time alongside of each other, they become almost one player. They become a cohesive unit. One guy knows what the other guy is going to do. And I will tell you right now, in the middle of the field, a lot of teams spent a lot of time trying to plug the hole with Dalvin Tomlinson. He allowed Leonard Williams to get the push. He allowed Leonard Williams to stop being
king of the almost sack.
He allowed him to get his sack totals. And also didn't help the secondary, was playing lights out at times. At times, the secondary had their own issues. But when you remove that large of a component, you have to look at what we're going to fill that component with. And the first one that comes to mind is Austin Johnson. And to me, Austin Johnson is a good player. He's a good fill-in player, and that's basically what he's been through his career. Because you know what? Not everyone is an every down starter. Just the way it is in the NFL. You got rotational guys. You bring in Danny Shelton. The only problem with Danny is people are making him out to be Danny from 4 years ago. He's not. Yeah, he's 345 pounds at 6'2", seventh year out of Washington. But he's not the guy that he used to be. He is not the guy from 3-4 years ago. He is a guy that over the last 2 to 3 seasons has actually generated more of a pass rush and has a higher pass rushing ranking than he does playing against the run. He had 36 tackles, 14 solo, 22 assists, and only 1 sack. And a lot of times when you see, and the only thing I get concerned about a lot of times when you see that much of a disparaging, can't talk today, between solo tackles and assists, it tells me some of those tackles are pile-on tackles that he kind of just piled onto the line. He's not the guy that he was in 15, 16, and 17. He hasn't been the same really since the 19. He played well at 19 for the Patriots, but I think that was more of a system situation. But I don't see I don't see either one of these two filling in the hole for Dalvin Tomlinson. I think there is going to be a hole on that line. If you remember back when we traded Snacks Harrison to Detroit, the Giants' run defense all of a sudden became porous. We couldn't stop anyone after that trade. Plain and simple. We couldn't. Now, I'm not saying we are going to fall deeply into that trap that we did with that trade, but I'm also not saying that we are going to have this I'm not sure. Here's the problem. I'm not sure the line is going to be lights out. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be good, but I think losing Dalvin Tomlinson is going to be an issue. Now, the best part is, and if we would take a look at the best way, when you have a secondary that should play up to the capability that we potentially could have, your defensive line is going to be given that added attention. They're going to be able to they're not going to get that added attention because there's going to be people trying so hard to work against the secondary. So that will give the defensive line more time to get to the quarterback. Now, the only problem is, and what does concern me, if teams decide they can't throw the ball against the Giants because of the secondary, they will go to the run. And if we cannot plug the holes with the run, that might turn into a problem, especially with our linebackers right now, because outside of Blake Martinez, I would not say we have another lights-out linebacker. Ojulari, to me, like I said, is going to be a guy that's going to play defensive end and linebacker, but we don't have another lights-out linebacker on the roster. We really don't. I mean, it's nothing bad about that. It's just like I say, you're not going to have an all-pro at every position. But if you take a look at what we have, you got to hope Carter Coughlin progresses. O'Shane Zimenez, we don't know what's going to happen with him. And he's also probably going to be more towards the defensive end position. You got Smith. Smith is still a question mark. And no one can tell me Smith is going to be the guy yet because no one knows. You got Trenton Harris, Devontae Downs, Tate Crowder, Lorenzo Carter, TJ Brunson, Cam Brown. That is not what I would say is Carl Banks Taylor. Or it used to be. It's Taylor, Banks, Costin, and Reasons. The 86 core. It's not the 86 core. But like I said, with our secondary, we should be able to play lights out. And I'm not saying the defense is not going to be a top 10. I'm not saying the defense. I still project the defense to potentially be in the top 5 if the secondary plays up to potential. Pro Football Focus ranks the Giants roster 19th out of the NFL. Does anyone really care? I don't. And if you care about Pro Football Focus, you know my feelings on that. I'm not even going to get into Pro Football Focus. Pro Football Jokis, because they're a freaking joke. They are the crutch of the ill-informed fan. And I know the people that listen to this channel don't look at Pro Football Focus. So we're not even going to get into that. But we'll figure out also what's going to go on with our contest. We are going to give away the Coaches Club ticket to hang out with me during the Jet preseason game, first game back to MetLife. That will be fun, and we'll figure out a contest. And again, this is Tim on the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like and subscribe, ring that bell, you know what it means. That'd be awesome.